No, I can't think of her name. What says that there's a fundraiser at Eagles 444?
Yeah.
I know, but I would a prayer for her. She got cancer and.
Why couldn't the flower right
Too busy.
Yeah, I heard there's a...
I had to run. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to make it. Oops.
Called Mrs.
I think you guys heard the one.
I'm telling you.
You know that Mrs. Segedy? That's what she said. None of us made it. Okay, thank you. Mayor, may I go down and get my glasses out of my car? I'll wait till after the Pledge of Allegiance.
Are you having the coffee Uber today?
No, sir?
Just Ubering the coffee?
They must have been running late or something.
Not you, the city.
Excuse me, Ed?
Yes, sir.
Are you Ubering the coffee today?
I was on my way there and I got called by the city manager.
Oh, so he...
All right, so it's time for the council meeting for tonight. City council meeting.
In your gavel. It's on.
Mike, no more jokes. Time to move on. We are here for the council meeting and for the March 20th, 2023, sorry. Council meeting, could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would have the Reverend please give the
Vocation.
I can never say
Vocation.
Gracious Lord, Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening, seeking you, seeking your heart, Lord. Lord, we want to begin by asking for comfort and peace for the family of Gail Segedy, passed away. Her husband, a former police commissioner here in the city. They've been here a long time supporters of what goes on here. We also want to pray for the family of Cedric Aaron, who also passed away yesterday. Lord, we know that you are here to comfort those who grieve, who are in need of your peace and your calm as they go through their grief. And may anybody that comes in contact with them offer their condolences. Lord, we pray for the people in this city, members who are in the armed forces, those who are stationed here and abroad. Lord, watch over them, guard and protect them, guide them. And Lord, we ask for the guidance for our city council, for them to do the best in the ability that they've been elected to, representing the people of the city and for the city's best interest. And we pray this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Can we have a roll call, please?
Certainly. Councilpersons Bear?
Here.
Dupre? Here. Ross? Here. Salcido? Here. Soar?
Here.
Tobin? Here. And Mayor Higgins.
Here. We have a couple of things that I'd like to talk about in the mayor's remarks. The first thing is, I'd like to talk about the Reverend Gary Shipling and his church, Blessed Hope, who does so much for Lincoln Park. They run a place where they feed people every day. They send food out to be delivered if it needs to be. They have a store there that helps people who have needs. They do an amazing amount of stuff for this. And on top of that, he also chairs the Rotary in Lincoln Park. And because of that, sir, will you please come up here, because I would like to give you the key of the city.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. I've been here, the church's been here for 20 years, and we're continuing to help those in need in the community. But thank you for your recognition.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And as long as we are giving out the keys of the city, Chief Martin would please come forward. We understand he's retiring.
Chief Waters.
Chief Waters, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Whoever you are, don't matter.
The guy back there with the tie, you know? Our chief of police has announced his retirement. He has done an amazing job, and he's going to be here for a little while, but I want to be the first to congratulate him on his retirement, and thank you for all that you have done in Lincoln Park, because you have done an amazing job.
If you don't retire, you gotta give that back.
Come on up,
Also, I'd like to announce one of our businesses, and I announced this earlier, but because of our storm and our power outage, the Boost Mobile 25-year anniversary had to be put off. So they're going to be doing it on March 25th, and then it's at 866 Dix from 2 to 4, and they invite the council and anybody else who would like to come by. To keep a business going in Lincoln Park for 25 years, it's a great thing. Also, everybody's happy today because today is the first day of spring. Everybody's happy. That means April is right around the corner. And April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. And the Exchange Club of Lincoln Park works diligently with the National Exchange Club to project for the prevention of child abuse. The National Exchange Club officially adopted the prevention of child abuse as its national project in 1979, and at the 61st National Convention, the Exchange provides a variety of public awareness materials designed to help inform and increase the awareness of child abuse and how it can be prevented. These are used in conjunction with the Exchange Clubs and Exchange Club Centers for prevention of child abuse. Additionally, the Exchange supports and engages in several annual activities designed to heighten the awareness of child abuse and the consequences. Through participation in the National Child Abuse Prevention Month, each April, the national headquarters in Toledo, Ohio, and local level clubs across the country work with the government agencies, local and national partners, and in their communities to draw awareness for and about prevention of other social crises. So, April is Child Prevention Month. Thank you. We move on to the consent agenda. Resolved that the following items listed under the consent agenda be approved as presented to the mayor and council.
Madam Chair, I would like to pull number 4 for discussion.
Okay? But not until after I read it.
I thought you wanted it before.
That's how it works.
Oh, okay. I thought it was before.
Approval of the minutes for a regular meeting on March 6, 2023. Approval of the minutes to study session for the food truck ordinance, March 6, 2023. Accounts and payable over $25,000. Approved a special event for Cinco de Mayo from the DDA. Approval of the special event Downriver Cruise Mustang Club. The schedule of our study session budget 2023-24, and schedule study session ordinance officers reorganization. And we have asked that number 4 be pulled, so we will be setting that aside to the end. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move.
Support.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Soar?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins.
Yes. City Manager, I believe you have the appointment on the SEMCOG delegates?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. So, as a member of the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments, often referred to as SEMCOG, we are able to designate our delegate as well as an alternate. SEMCOG's rules are that the delegate must be an elected official, but that the alternate doesn't need to be. We've in the past done the mayor as the delegate and the city manager as the alternate, just to ensure we've got some kind of representation at SEMCOG meetings and we're connected with them. There's no, requirement that we do that, but we have, with the mayoral transition, we haven't done this in a little bit, and it's time for us to designate our delegates. So I have prepared a resolution that is open for however you guys wish to proceed to name the delegate and the alternate. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay.
So if we, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to write myself in as the delegate, and then is there somebody else who would be interested? Because I've heard there's at least one person who is interested.
I'd do it if you'd like.
Okay. Is there anybody else other than Maureen that would be interested in being the second? Okay. Then be it resolved that the mayor and city council name Mike Higgins as the City of Lincoln Park's delegate to the Southwest Michigan Council of Governments, and be it further resolved that the mayor and council name Maureen Tobin as the city's alternate delegate.
So moved.
Support. Can we call the vote? Anybody have any questions? Okay, then we'll call for the vote.
Councilpersons Dupre?
Yes.
Soar?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Ross? Yes. Salcido?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins.
Yes. Okay.
Explain anything on it, or you just want me to read it?
I'm going to turn this one over to the city clerk.
Okay, so resolved that an ordinance to amend Part 8, Title 2 of the codified ordinances of the City of Lincoln Park by adding definitions, Section .12, location permit, Section .13, food truck zones, and repealing Section .03A, .03C and .03D, and amending Section .1F of Chapter 826 entitled Food Trucks be given its first and second reading by title only. The City of Lincoln Park ordains that Part 8 of the codified ordinances for the City of Lincoln Park, Title 2, Chapter 826, entitled Food Trucks be and is hereby amended by adding definitions, Section .12 entitled Location Permits, and Section .13 entitled Food Truck Zones, repealing Section .03A, .03C, and .03D, and amending Section .10F as follows.
I'll move.
Support.
Anyone have anything to say?
I just, under 826.03, I know when we did the study session, I asked that we include the fire inspection actually be put into that. So when they go through what they need to get the permits or the licensing, that they do know what it is, a fire inspection.
I thought we were putting that in the rules and regulations part of it. That's why I didn't put it in here, but we can certainly do that for the next reading, if that's where we run it.
The idea that way, rule it under rules, but also if they go further and it's not in here, they might question.
Okay.
it, and they hate to send somebody away and make them come back.
Okay. Okay.
Anyone else? Then we'll call for the vote. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, just a quick comment. I mean, in 826.03A does say that, that they're going to be inspected by the fire inspector, is that not?
Yeah, but they actually need a sticker or from a fire company that says that their suppressant systems have been investigated.
Okay.
And they travel, so they kind of need them. And if they already have one from another municipality, then we don't need to put our inspector through that.
Okay.
Okay, hearing nothing else, call for the vote.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Soar?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins.
Yes.
Then the next one is the special event permit ordinance. Resolved that an ordinance to amend Part 8, Title 2 of the codified ordinances of the City of Lincoln Park by adding Section .08, recurring applications, and Section .10, appeal, and amending Section .06 of Chapter 878 entitled Special Events be given its first and second reading by title only. The City of Lincoln Park ordains that Part 8 of the codified ordinance for the City of Lincoln Park, Title 2, Chapter 878 entitled Special Events be and is hereby amended by adding Section .08 entitled Recurring Applications and Section .10 entitled Appeal, and amending Section .06.
I'll move.
I'll support.
Anyone? Call for the vote.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Soar?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next up is the Chief of Police.
The police department's requesting that council waive the bid process and grant the police department permission to purchase a new 2023 Ford Explorer from Enterprise. This would be to replace our Unit 48, which was recently in an accident that suffered significant damage. Lincoln Park's insurance company, Michigan Municipal League, is paying $35,710 to replace the totaled out 48. Enterprise has provided with us a state bid quote of $48,100.52, which includes all maintenance for the vehicle over 4 years. The purchase of the vehicle will come from our forfeiture account 265-320-983.
Okay, hearing that. I'll support.
He's got to read the resolution first.
Whereas the Lincoln Park Police Department is requesting a purchase of a 2023 Ford Explorer, be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize the police department to waive the bidding process and purchase one 2023 Ford Explorer for a total cost of $48,152 from Enterprise, a qualifying state bid participant. Be it further resolved that funds for the purchase of the 2023 Ford Explorer to come from the Police Department's Forfeiture Capital Account 265-320-983-000-VH04.
I'll move.
Support.
Through the chair, Your Honor, I do have a question for Chief Waters. It appears in the past we were going through like dealerships to purchase vehicles. Lately, we've gone through Enterprise. Is it because they do all the maintenance for the 4 years? Is that what we're saving?
Correct. Yeah, so it works out. We're getting the vehicles through them. The price, the initial price to buy the vehicles is the same. We just get the maintenance package on top of it. So far, it's worked out very well for us.
Thank you very much. Good idea.
Through the chair.
Yes?
Chief, are we able to salvage any of the other instruments and special stuff that you need?
Yes, so we've already sent the vehicle that was in the crash has already been sent out to our outfitter. He's removed everything off that vehicle that we could save, and it's sitting in a bay right now waiting for the new car.
Thank you.
Okay, call for the vote.
Councilperson Salcido?
Yes.
Ross? Yes. Bear?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Zor?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins.
Public, John, come on up.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The first item before you is GV Cement has approached or is approaching the city. GV Cement is extending their unit rates from the 2019 program when they first came in town. And at that point in time, they were the low red, and they're taking those 2019 unit rates and they're offering it to the city at those same unit rates for the 2023 road sectioning and reconstruction program. GV Cement has also been with the city of Lincoln Park for approximately 10 years now, and more recently for the last 3 years. Financial impact, there's a cost savings for extending their present 2019 unit rates due to price increases for material and fuel over the years. My recommendation is recommend that Mayor and Council approve GV Cement contracting, extending their 2019 to 2023 unit rates for road structuring and reconstruction. And the resolution before you is also be resolved that Mayor and Council approve GV Cement's contract extension for the 2023 road sectioning and reconstruction program at their current 2019 unit rates.
I'll move on that.
I'll support.
Through the chair, Your Honor.
Yes.
John, I have a question, because it seems like we're getting a lot of these where people want to extend their warranty for an extra year because we're going to keep the cost from the 2019, 2020. What if you said, why don't you give us a 2-year deal and we'll go with this, that way we don't have to worry about it next year, and just go in every year and rebid. You know what I mean? Just say they want to stay with us an extra year. Have you thought about that idea?
We have, and that question's been asked. And let me use GV Cement as an example. I didn't think that they would offer their same unit rates this year. Because last year, I think the mayor and council were pretty adamant. They wanted to put it out for bid to maybe test the marketplace. But as we got closer to this year, it seemed like all of these contractors looked at it and said, you know what? It wasn't a bad thing to start here with a known quantity, known location, and a lot of them are relatively close to Lincoln Park. So I'm kind of surprised that all of them have offered it. And so far, the mayor and council have extended those 2019 unit rates. And here again, this is the last one that came to the table and offered the same thing.
Thank you for the explanation, John. Thank you.
Can I ask one question? Absolutely.
John, can you do me a favor and in the future give us numbers? So
I can.
Yeah, I'd like to know numbers, if that's possible.
It is.
If nothing else, I call for the vote.
Mayor Higgins?
Yes.
Councilpersons Tobin?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Zor?
Yes.
Thank you.
My item before you on this particular subject is approval of a resolution of supporting Hennessy to submit application for MDOT's local critical bridge program. Background: in 2022, Hennessy Engineering and Link Engineering Services submitted application to MDOT's local critical bridge program for grants to replace the bridges at the following locations. Number 1, Howard Street over Sexton Kilfoyle, structure 12501. Harrison Street West over South Branch of Ecorse Creek, structure 12498. Emmons Boulevard over Sexton Kilfoyle, structure 12500. MDOT did not approve the bridges in last year's program. Therefore, Hennessy and Link Engineering are requesting to submit or resubmit the applications for grants to replace these bridges. Financial impact: the application will be completed and submitted to MDOT at no cost to the City of Lincoln Park. Recommendation is recommended that Mayor and Council adopt a resolution of support for Hennessy and Link Engineering to place the Howard Street, Harrison Street, and Emmons Boulevard bridges onto the MDOT local bridge program priority list at no cost to the city. The resolution attached to that, it be resolved that Mayor and Council support placing Harrison Street Bridge West, structure 12506 over the South Branch of Ecorse Creek, and Emmons Boulevard Bridge, structure 12500, and Harrison Street Bridge structure number 12501 over the Sexton Kilfoyle onto the MDOT local critical bridge program priority list. Be further resolved, the priority of these bridges are as follows: Howard Street over Sexton Kilfoyle, structure 12501, Harrison Street Bridge over Sexton Kilfoyle of the Ecorse Creek, structure 12498, and Emmons Boulevard over Sexton Kilfoyle, structure 12500. And attaches Hennessy's letter requesting the same concurrence.
I'll move.
And support. Through the chair.
I have a question first. With them also doing the bridge on Southfield,
Which, I'm sorry, I heard that
the
part.
bridge on Southfield's going to be done, will we be sure that we're not doing that bridge at the same time that we do?
This would not, if we were granted this, it would not be until the 25-20 year construction, or 25-26 year construction.
Okay.
The bridge on Southfield is scheduled for this spring.
That's, all right.
Through the chair. Do you know why they didn't accept the bid last year?
Myself and the City of Wyandotte, because we actually share Emmett Street Bridge, myself and the city engineer from Wyandotte, we asked as part of the steering committee on that, and their rebuttal was, or not, their response was, others had worse bridges.
All right, and are they going to be submitting the same application that they submitted last year, or are they going to rework it? And
There isn't a whole lot that you can really rework. What helps us but hurts us, the reality of our bridges are another corroded year older, which puts us into a better spot for maybe receiving some of these. And the other thing that myself, Hennessy, LinkedIn, and the City of Wyandotte's city engineer, we want to go to, or we're going to go to the meeting where they bring these before that steering committee, and we'd like to talk on behalf of these, our bridges.
okay, thank you.
Do you know that the City of Wyandotte endorsed this?
Yes, they have. Also, as I've conversed with the City of Wyandotte, they and Lincoln Park were each going to submit 12.5% participation. So between the two communities, we would participate 25%. We're trying to maybe throw a little bit of more money into it to maybe get a better opportunity to get that grant.
Okay. With that, I'll call for a vote.
Councilperson Zoer?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Dupre? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins?
Yes. Okay, we're going to go back to the consent agenda. There was a,
John's got
I
another.
have one more item.
oh, okay, go ahead. Oh, I see what he did.
Accepting contract from Michigan Department of Transportation for milling and resurfacing of the London Street from I-75 to Dix. Background, City of Lincoln Park has received funding through the state of Michigan for the milling and paving of London from, again, I-75 to Dix. The funding originally comes from the United States Department of Transportation and is passed through the state of Michigan. The total estimated cost of this project is $188,500. The city will be responsible for an estimated $34,213. The total scope of the project will be the milling, resurfacing of this section of London, including concrete curb and gutter, curb ramps, and permanent pavement markings. Financial impact: the major road funds will be responsible for the city's share of this project. Recommendation is recommended that the mayor and council adopt the attached resolution to approve the contract with the state of Michigan, authorizes the DPS director, John Kazoo, our Act 51 administrator, to execute all necessary documents. The resolution attached, whereas the city of Lincoln Park believes quality roads are a vital part of any community, and whereas certain improvements are necessary to London Avenue from I-75 to Dix Highway to increase traffic safety for motorists traveling this road, and whereas the state of Michigan has committed to milling and resurfacing of London from I-75 to Dix, and whereas City of Lincoln Park will provide an estimated payment to the state of Michigan in the amount of $34,213 toward the cost of the project. Therefore, be resolved that the mayor and council of the City of Lincoln Park do hereby approve the proposed agreement between City of Lincoln Park and the state of Michigan, contract number 23-5057, for the milling and resurfacing of London Avenue from I-75 to Dix Highway, and be it further resolved that DPS Director John Kazoo, our Act 51 Administrator, is authorized to execute the agreement on behalf of the City of Lincoln Park.
I'll move.
I'll support.
With discussion, question?
Yes.
John, when it says 75, from London to 75, London from 75 to Dix, I'm picturing Dix, and here's London, 75 is over here. I'm not quite sure.
Where's that?
London goes over the bridge.
Under the bridge
It's
there?
starting from the bridge. No, it is not, does not include going over the bridge, because the bridge in and of itself is owned by MDOT.
Okay.
And that road surface is in probably A category, or maybe even closer to A+. It's in really good shape, but our roadway, starting from that bridge approach, going to Dix, is in very rough shape.
Gotcha.
And we're able to get, basically, the federal government and the state of Michigan pick up vast majority of that cost.
Fabulous. Great,
Chair.
thank you.
Is this something that we've budgeted for, or will this be a budget amendment?
It has been, I believe it has been budgeted for. It has been put in for.
Okay. It's an estimate, so it could be more, but this is approximately what you're planning on it being.
That's what we're anticipating it will be, yes.
Thank you.
Hearing nothing else, I call for the vote.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Zohr?
Yes.
Beer?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, now going back to the consent item, we pulled number 4. Resolve that the special event permit number 2 be approved for the DDA for Cinco de Mayo event to be held in the city of Lincoln Park, April 29, 2023, from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. on O'Connor between Fort Street and Electric, under the following conditions. 1, special event to cease at 11 p.m. per municipal code 66604. Applicant shall be responsible for cleanup of all debris associated with the event from the surrounding properties. Be it further resolved that O'Connor be between 4th Street and Electric be closed to vehicle traffic from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
I'll move.
Support.
For discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, discussion.
Through the chair.
Through the chair.
So under the applicant shall be responsible for cleanup of all debris and associates, number 2, in the resolution. That's something that DPS does. And last year when we did this event, the costs were waived from DPS, and I don't believe that we had any costs from the fire, or the police department last year on this. Carl is not here, so I can't confirm this. But I would like to see these fees waived again. That's over $3,000 to our departments to put on this event. I know that there's overtime left in the budget for this. We do this for the Memorial Day Parade, which is not a city event, and it's just too much to add to this event since it's for our residents and it's something that the DDA puts on. It's just, and last year DPS came out and they did the streets. They did a very good job blocking off the streets. They brought us the garbage cans. At the end they came in and they unblocked the streets and they left. I really hope that you will consider waiving the fees again this year so that we aren't going to be going into the hole to put this event on for the city.
I don't recall the cost being this much for the police department. Can you give me an explanation, please?
This is the same it was last year.
Okay.
But we waived it last year.
It was not waived last year.
We waived all the costs for Cinco last year.
No, not for Cinco, no.
I believe so.
Yeah, we did. We absolutely did. Carrie?
I'm pretty sure that's what it read. We looked it up the other day in the minutes.
It went through and you asked for the price and then it was later on, it was,
Okay,
the council took it off.
okay.
So-
But we just have to think about that in the future, if the DDA doesn't have any money to pay for things like this, then we have to increase our overtime budget, because we have to have bodies there. So we just can't magically appear.
Okay.
We have to, I mean, if they don't have the money to fund things, then we have to increase our
I
overtime budget.
understand that, but you guys are usually there anyways with your own booth and representing the police department there.
If I have a community policing officer there, that's not somebody there that's there for security.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll ask the same question of DPS.
Our price was put together on what we believed and what we was requested of us last year. For us to put people out, there's a cost associated with it. None of my people, like the police department, are volunteers.
Not asking them to volunteer and asking for it to come out of the department's budgets for
Right,
their
yeah,
overtime.
yeah, we're not asking for volunteers, we're asking for to come from your overtime budget.
And with that being said, contractually, I'm obligated, or the city's obligated to pay those people.
Is anybody,
Good question.
sure,
Chief, was there a liquor license for
No.
this also this year?
no,
For
there
this
was not,
event?
there is not,
Okay.
Through the chair,
yes.
if I could ask James, if we waive the fees, where does the money come from to pay the officers and to pay DPS?
It would likely come from the city's general fund. Police department overtime would be general fund. We couldn't use any other fund source. I'm kind of looking at Lisa to agree or disagree on this, but I don't think we can use any other fund to pay for the DPS guys, water, sewer, or any of the roads funds. So it would be a general fund expense, which is, you know, the only other fund we have that can pay for something like this. You know, typically, communities in it, where the DDA is putting on an event, the DDA will cover the cost recovery.
Personally, I believe we should just go ahead and do it out of general fund. We, you know,
Do you make that a motion?
I do.
Okay, do I
I'll
hear a
second that.
second?
I'll second that motion.
I'll call for the vote. Oh, just
And
wait
also
one
is-
second, Tracy, you want something to say?
Also, is this going to set precedent for other events? That's a concern.
city sponsored, city agency sponsored. I'll speak up. It shouldn't set a precedent. It stands on its own. Make a finding that it's required because of the general city needs in the downtown area. Place that in the resolution and you'll be fine. And make certain that you say there should be a budget adjustment if necessary so the city manager doesn't pull his hair out.
Okay, so we have a motion to amend this resolution to waive the fees for this event and to do all that stuff Ed said. So that's what we're going to vote on first,
Okay.
okay? So, Councilperson Zoer,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Ross,
No.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Higgins.
Yes.
Okay, so that motion passed. And then are we ready to vote on the amended
Yes.
resolution? Okay. Councilpersons Ross,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
Soar,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
and Mayor Higgins.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, we have a miscellaneous before us tonight. Whereas the Lincoln Park Brownfield Redevelopment Authority has reviewed a brownfield plan for the property of 2100 Southfield and has requested the mayor and council consider adoption of the plan, and whereas a public hearing must be held prior to the adoption of said plan, be it resolved that the mayor and council schedule a public hearing for the consideration of a brownfield redevelopment plan for the property located at 2100 Southfield during the regular council meeting on April 17th, 2023 at 7:30 PM in the John A. Aloisi Council Chamber, 1355 Southfield Road, Lincoln Park, Michigan.
So moved.
I'll support.
Any questions? We will call for the vote.
Councilpersons Dupre,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
Soar,
Yes.
and Mayor Higgins.
Yes. And for the public at home, I'll let you know that that is the Sears property we'll be talking about. On to the city manager's report.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. A couple things of note tonight, but first, so in your packet and online in the packet, there is a little extended city manager's report that I've been trying to do once a quarter. This is the strategic plan update. For those who aren't familiar, back in May of last year, we had a strategic planning session culminating in a document that is available on the city's website. That is the city's strategic plan. We adopted that in June of 2022. Lays out the goals and objectives for city staff for the 1 year, 1.5 year time frame. As we've been going through, we are making some serious headway in a lot of these projects. So we are starting to see projects moving from that red, where there's nothing started, into, and I unfortunately, a couple of the way it was scanned, it ended up being not colored. There is a colored version online for everybody to look at. So when I'm referencing,
Where can we find it?
you'll be able to find it. I think it was put on as additional. Under more. Where you could find the council packet online, there's a more section.
Okay.
at the
So
date.
the same agenda
Yep.
minutes?
Yep, it's
or
just
agenda
an
packet?
additional
Okay,
addendum, if you will, to the packet.
thank you.
So we are starting to see some projects going from red to that orange, burnt orange, into yellow, into green, and a lot more are starting to be yellow and green, which is really, some projects are going to remain yellow only because there's something that we're going to continuously be doing. There's things that will never get accomplished, but that's because they're not intended to really get accomplished. It's something for us to continue working on and monitoring, if you will. But a couple highlights from this: the City Hall window project has been completed. We've awarded bids for the front door project. the animal shelter, the police department upgrades. Not only have we awarded the bids, but we are tentatively looking at an early April start now. Hopefully, this weather stops being crazy and it clears up and we can actually move forward with construction and can actually get the trucks in here and not worry about frost laws anymore. One of the projects was to review the special event process and permit applications and all that. That culminated tonight in an ordinance amendment. Parks and Recreation Master Plan is completed and is scheduled to be approved, up for approval at the next council meeting. And then another big one was the reorganization of code enforcement, and we've presented a plan and an overall approach, and we are moving forward with that. So we are making some significant headway, even though it often doesn't feel like we are, because some of these things take a while, and it's incremental and change happens slowly. But we are, every 3 months it's nice to look back and see some of the stuff that we've accomplished there. We've got a fantastic team working on these things that, there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that people don't see. And I just, want to note all the staff and how I appreciate their work on these things. A couple other updates. The overall systematic approach to the debris cleanup from the storms has completed. I'm sure there are still some houses that have storm debris, and if anybody's been missed, DPS has gone out today and cleaned up a few more. They're moving into the parks right now as best they can, mostly on the perimeter. Again, the ground is not very conducive at this point of the year to have heavy equipment on grass. So it is, that project has completed in earnest. And so we'll be taking that map down off the website soon. Big, congratulations to Chief Waters on his 27 and a half years that'll be coming to an end here. We wish him the best, although if he wanted to pull his retirement letter, he can at any time in the next 16 days. I'm okay with it. Then last meeting I was asked about the building department, and I was asked about where we were at with bringing things in-house. I mistakenly misspoke and mentioned that we didn't get any applications. I had forgotten that we had received some more applications after we reposted. John and I sat down today and went through those to try and pick out the ones, and we're going to go back and take a look. We're going to try and set up some testing there and move forward, because it was honestly, there was a slight lack of communication between John and I and how we were moving forward. He thought I was doing one thing, I thought he was doing something else, and that's where things slipped away on that. But we are moving forward there, and with that, that's all I had prepared for tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions. I know there's a couple.
To the chair. As just being at Council Point Park today, I can certainly attest to the massive amount of tree damage all up and down that creek, and it does get into the surfaces. I was stunned by how many just entire tree trunks, you could just see where they cracked and fell. So the parks will be a very big job to get through. That's all.
Through the chair. So if you're going to go back through those applications for the building department after 14 months or so and none are available, are you going to put the jobs back out?
I'm glad you asked that. So the applications we have received, they weren't from the first post about 14 months ago. We reposted in the fall. I think it was about September that we reposted. That's where these applications came from. We went through, we're going to call, see if people are interested, so that we know how many tests we need to order, because we don't keep those on hand. We have to always send them all, the unfinished tests, back. But if we don't have people who are still interested, we will repost and go from there.
And you're looking to just hire for what we're going to do with the ordinance shuffle that we're doing, or are you looking to bring it in-house?
This is the first step. As you remember, back in January of last year, we approved a a letter of understanding with McKenna, which set out the phased approach for hiring a city building department. Phase one was to look for, and we're changing some of the words a bit now. It was a deputy building official, but now we're kind of looking as like a lead building inspector, because it's going to be a little bit more of a hands-on role than completely administrative, but essentially the same idea that we had, just parsing some different. And then also the lead on the permit side, the lead administrative person. So that's step one. From there, step two will be trying to hire additional staff. And each step along the way has, in the letter of understanding, a reduction in what we pay. Phase one will actually have a reduction when we hire both bodies. It's supposed to be 7.5% for each, so a 15% reduction in the fee.
And the 2 new hires will be for the ordinance change that we're planning, right?
Well, that posting is supposed to go up still for the ordinance bit, because that'll be an internal posting first. But yeah, that's part of a whirlwind of things happening with hiring in the building department.
Okay, and the other thing I have is the truck machine that we have that fills the potholes with the mixture. I'm not sure exactly what you call it, but is that up and running? Have we moved forward with that at all?
So John and I spoke this morning. The spray patch machine is functioning again. I know there was some issues last year about getting it running, and then the issue is that we don't have any staff who's been properly trained on it. John and I spoke this morning about getting a small load of what's called emulsion. The tank holds 1,000 gallons, but John has concerns about being able to utilize all 1,000 gallons based on our staffing level. Not our pothole quantity, but our staffing level. And so we talked about getting a smaller amount, maybe 400 gallons, and then bringing in the manufacturer to train our guys, selecting a road, perhaps a road that we all know that has a ton of issues and isn't anywhere on the list for repairs. So we are hoping to move forward on that.
I thought we had already gotten some.
Question?
You too.
James, to John, is that an infrared machine, or is that, no?
John's shaking his head no.
Okay.
Through the chair, Your Honor.
Yes.
2 quick questions. In regards to citizens' trees, explain to the residents, if their tree on their side of property happened to fall during the ice storm that we had, are they responsible for removal, or is this a touchy subject that the DPS cannot go on people's private property? We just clear that up for our residents?
And then we've got Ed here to talk about some of the issues with liability, but DPS really should not be going on private property for tree removal. Number one, if they get hurt, liability might be covered by the homeowner insurance as opposed to our insurance. And workman's comp becomes an issue. There's a ton of different issues there. Plus, what if they do some kind of damage to the property?
City manager's correct, and they have no authority to enter on a private property. If they're invited to do that, it's not a proper function
Right.
of the DPS to enter on a private property.
Right. We just.
If it's a city tree, it's a different story.
Thank you, I want the residents to hear that, thank you. My last question is in regards to the December 5th City Council meeting, the project was awarded, the first phase of the project for the City Hall generator. It says this will take place over the next 30 weeks or so. Does that mean within the next 30 weeks we're going to start on it, or are we going to start on it next week, but it's going to take 30 weeks?
Well, so 30 weeks has to do with the lead time for materials on that. So on our end, we've done what we can do. As far as I understand, the materials have been ordered. It's just a matter of time until they can get here.
All right, thank you very much. That's all I have, thank you.
Through the chair, please. James, are we still waiting on a report from Hennessy regarding Goddard Road?
I'm not aware if we actually commissioned a report on Goddard. I know there's been informal conversations, and that was something John and I spoke about today, was Goddard Road. But they had sent us some information before on specifically the condition that has caused the condition of the road, the ASR. But if you guys would like, I can go back to them and have them prepare something more formal.
I think I would, I think Goddard it's worth doing that.
Right, and I jested a little earlier about a road that we all know that's not on the list and needs work. Goddard is the road we had talked about earlier today.
Okay, thank you.
Through the chair?
Yes.
James, just because we're talking about Goddard, in Hennessy's report, I'd like to know where they're going to put Goddard as far as is it going to be on a replacement list? Is it going to be on a sectioning list? Is it, which street list is it going to go on?
Right. So from what I understand, sectioning probably isn't going to do much good because the issue on Goddard, this ASR, specifically attacks joints, right, where water is able to get in. Sectioning, if you look at the road, we would probably have to section the entire former joints. And so what that will do is take that singular joint down the middle and turn it into two on the side. So it might open up the potential for a couple more. So it's probably either a
Full replacement?
it's probably a full replacement, or I know John and Jim Hollinsworth were kicking around today the idea of some sort of remedial overlay that might give us some extra time. Whether or not that works still concerns. So I'll ask Hennessy to prepare a report to give a little bit more background on the ASR and what's going on there. The last time the road was done, and then strategies for remediation, and strategies and timing from when we might even be able to get to it.
Thank you.
I know we've been waiting for a return from the union about the event coordinator. Did they come back?
So I was texting with the union's rep earlier this afternoon. Should be sewn up on Wednesday. So we'll be able to post that one this week as well.
And when we post it for...
It'll be internally, I think the contract says 5 days.
Are we posting for the DPS positions and whatever we're short on at this time as well?
Yeah, those DPS, police, and previously fire, those three were consistently up on the website being posted.
Anything else for the city manager? Okay, then we have a building department that would like to talk to us.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is our third quarter of the year. Let me give you a few numbers that will excite you and make you thrilled that you are here tonight. Just starting with the fact that our certifications are such things as rental, resales, and vacants. We've already produced 1,320 of them. Our certificate of occupancies this year have been 91 up to this point, and our permits for over 1,900 permits at this time. We're on line and on target to meet and reach our budgeted goal and exceeded again for the fifth consecutive year that we've been here. So we're pleased with what we see going into the final quarter. We started in this third quarter a project in lieu of the July strategical plan of the City Council to begin to clean up the commercial districts. So far, we have addressed 97 businesses with sign violations and renovations and corrections. And so that project will continue until we are completed. Typically, on a monthly or quarterly basis, we send out a flow chart of our commercial businesses. In 2020, we were certified and registered at between 48 and 54 of our 600 and some properties. Today, I can tell you we are now over 90% registered.
And so they've done a good job keeping us in line. That'll be an ongoing program. It won't end as businesses come and go. The building official has now completed level 2 of his ICC International certifications. He has one more to go, and then he'll have completed, and he'll be certified for the code enforcement and communications in business law degree, financing, budgeting, and human resources, as well as the 14 code books in the United States. So we'll finish that one hopefully by the end of this fiscal year, and then I'll finish the last 2 fire certificates that are on my plate to finish. So we're excited with those 3 or 4 items that are on place. That's all that I have for a report tonight. If you have any further questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
To the chair.
Go ahead, Tracy.
John, out of the 91 CFOs, do we know how many are new and how many are renewals?
No?
John, this is in reference to the ordinance reorganization that we're doing. I know I spoke to you privately before the meeting, and
Yes, it's a small project we're working on.
and we've scheduled a study session for it. I've heard that requires some pretty major building modifications, and I just wanted to ask, would there be things that we as council could do to help, to enable you to proceed with this project in a timely and efficient manner?
Let me give you a rundown on that project as I know of it from my chair. As we've agreed a month ago today that we would be processing and moving ourselves forward. The city's department heads have been incredibly supportive in helping us get where we are right now. We already have 2 brand new vehicles. They are 2023 Ford Edges that are on the ground. They're getting decaled and registered in the city as we speak. All the electronic devices have now been specialized and customized in design and ordered. Hopefully in the next 2 days I will personally remod the SSD cards inside them to give us the highest resolution we can get. We also now have 2 mobile printers that will add to both of the vehicles and add that in the process. The other stage of the game has been evaluating what we do with the first floor design. There is not enough room to put another 3 people in the building department as it is presently. And so my recommendation has been to consider asking the city to take the Chamber of Commerce and empty that office space, as well as the farmer's market, and empty that office space. If we cut one hole through the structural wall from my inspectors union into the Chamber of Commerce, that would be helpful, because then I could empty the kitchen that's in the building department and put the code enforcement clerical coordinator at that door, and then move everybody else into space that they can actually function on a regular basis. That would be the first request I would have, is just giving us permission to have that office and that door made. And then the second recommendation, because of what else is inside that other unit, is much of the city clerk's legal responsible protection against elections and all of those documents. And phase 2 would be a recommendation to build one wall and put a secure door inside the garage that would give the clerk the entire 2/3 of a projection of 2/3 of the garage secured facility, so that all her equipment and stuff that is required by law to be protected and locked and secured under her leadership in that office. That would be phase 2. I project it would be somewhere also between that $5,000 and $10,000 range to complete that project. Once those 2 projects are done, we could move fluidly for a period of time until we reviewed all the remaining repairs and recommendations I gave for the city to finish the project. And that would be my request. If you're asking, could you help us? Yes, the faster we could open that wall and use that space before we get to grass growing season, which is when you're going to want us to have an up and running program, that is a physical location limitation that we have presently going into May 1.
And would it be safe to say that you you wouldn't recommend waiting for the study session to play out before we would put some of these plans in motion?
I'm a proactive thinker. We've put a lot of time into it. I wrote a scaled projected drawing. I reviewed it with 3 or 4 people that could both have practical as well as outside evaluation of what the project would mean. It would hold the future development of the city in planners and other departments that could be expanded into that section of the first floor. Then I went to Hennessy and Ray Parker, who is the architect. We've now walked the building for architectural structure for some of the more challenging creative thoughts that I have. He and I both agree that it can be done and can be done safely. And in doing so, we now have a projection of how it can be done if we stay with the design that we have. So if it got done before we get to the study session, and we had permission to do 1 or 2 of the first phases, it would expedite the project altogether.
Okay, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Through the chair, Your Honor?
Yes.
I don't want to go back, but I remember last council meeting, it was brought up in regards to bringing the building department in-house, right? It was brought up again tonight. I went back to January 22. You gave a report, Mr. Myers. I just want to be clear. If we brought in the in-house building department, I believe you stated to the fact that in time, it would be beneficial for the city. Is that a clear statement?
Absolutely, hands down, no questions about it. The faster or the more efficiently we can bring the entire building department back into the city, it grants and provides you 3 things that I stated then, and I'll say it again. 1, it grants you a governance to remove a personnel who's not meeting the standards of expectations in performance at a much faster and more cleaner rate. Number 2, it allows you to have a legacy of people that can climb a ladder of success. You see that in other departments in our city where someone retires and someone's ready and able to step in without it being a major pause and wait. So if I felt that it was necessary to resign or retire without a first-hand person in place, you'd be changing maybe philosophy of how the building department would be rerunning by whoever you brought in based on a third-party position. So yes, I believe on a long run and in the short run, the revenue stream has been modified and demonstrated that in 5 years we can meet our budget and exceed that budget to meet the cost override that it would take to bring it in-house. And it would give you the ability to be flexible with how and who you want to use because they would now be responsible ownership under you.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Jane, would I be able to defer to you as far as how the process would need to work from what John just said to having us to help him proceed with the project?
I think we're going to need costs, we're going to need council approval. It ultimately is going to come down to council approval. There was a resolution last summer that all these types of things have to come to council. It's going to be above the threshold of cost that we can administratively approve. So it's all going to have to come back to council.
Okay.
Eventually.
Has Chamber of Commerce and Farmers Market weighed in on all of this? I'm just curious.
I do not know. So I have had conversations with both the Chamber of Commerce and the Farmers Market. We're working through a couple issues with Farmers Market, but they're not insurmountable, and Farmers Market has been very gracious with the way things have been going. Chamber would prefer to stay. That's no secret. But the executive director does understand that we're running out of space. So we're going to have to work with the chamber to try and find a solution.
Anything further for the building department?
For your future benefit, if you'd like it, I do have a projected cost for the first 2 projects that we've broken down by an outside construction company.
Did you send that email to the mayor and council?
I have not. I just received it this afternoon.
Oh, no, can you in there?
I can.
Thank you. All right. With that, we will move on to the audience participation. I see no one running to the microphone, so we'll go to the council. Council President?
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Just one thing, once again, thanks, congratulations to Chief Waters on your retirement, upcoming retirement. You've always been very professional with me whenever I emailed you or called you. You were very responsive, and I appreciate that, and good luck to you in your future. That's all, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilman Tracy?
I'd like to congratulate the chief, too. It's a big step in life, and that's fabulous. I'm very happy for you. I just have a couple dates to spout out again. April 22nd is a citywide cleanup. April 29th is Cinco de Mayo. May 21st is the Memorial Day Parade. Anyone interested, any groups interested in the parade, you can contact me for information. Thank you.
Councilman Tobin?
I'd like to say well done to Chief Waters, too. Thank you for supporting us, and best of everything to you in the future. I've got a couple dates also. April 2nd, the Lincoln Park Exchange Club will be holding their Easter egg hunt at the band shell, and we start at 1 o'clock. So kids 9 and under, the Easter Bunny and Timeout Teddy will be there, and we will also have some literature to hand out on the prevention of child abuse, cyberbullying, that kind of stuff. On April 12th, the Lincoln Park Schools Education Foundation is holding their annual Spring Spectacular. Haven't been able to do this since 2019. This will be held at Orlando's. Arnaldo's. I never say it right. Arnaldo's on Quarry Road. The tickets are $35. They include dinner, a really nice dinner, beer, wine. There will be raffles, silent auctions, entertainment. If you're interested in getting tickets, you can contact the Board of Education or you can contact me. But it's a really great event, and we're looking forward to it. What else do I got? The Ultimate Cook-Off on the 22nd that goes with the mayor's cleanup. Elsie Binks will be there. They haven't been around in quite a while as a full band, so it's going to be a really fun event. April 27th, the Historical Society. If you attended Jack Frost this year, on Saturday afternoon we had a band called Four Piece Suits, and they were very entertaining, and they will be at the dinner on April 27th at the high school for the Historical Museum. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And don't forget, Cinco de Mayo starts at noon on April 29th. We've got ballet, bands, mariachi, food trucks. It's just going to be a lot of fun. Bounce houses, stuff for kids. Really good family event. So that's all I have. Everybody stay safe and pray for spring. That's it. Thank you.
Councilman Ross?
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Councilwoman Tobin, for getting that music for the museum. Yeah. So, again, for the annual society dinner and program, you can get more information at lpmuseum@gmail.com. And I do know that tickets are $25 for non-members and $20 for members. Again, that will be April the 27th. That's a Thursday from 6:30 to 8:30. And I don't have all the details, but I do know that Mixter School is going to provide us some artwork as part of their fundraiser. We're getting artwork donated, so it'll be showcased at the dinner and will be available for purchase. I'm not sure that they'll be available for purchase exactly that night. If not that night, certainly at the museum later. The museum's Heritage Plaza paver orders. The flyers are out if you need one. Again, that you can ask for one from lpmuseum@gmail.com. And the pavers are 4x8 for $100, 8x8 for $150. and they will be dedicated at the Memorial Day ceremony and bell ringing held Saturday, May 20th at noon. I did just want to remind you that we are participating with Simple Recycling. If you want more information, you can find that at simplerecycling.com, or I know under DPS heading on our website. The Wayne County Household Hazardous Waste Collection is April 1st at Wayne County Community College in Belleville. That's on Haggerty Road. The next one will be June 17th from 8 to 1, and that one will be in Dearborn at the Henry Ford College. If you can't make either one of those dates, we do have the Wayne County Household Hazardous Waste voucher available for you here at City Hall. With this voucher, you can take your household hazardous materials to Livonia, and the address is on the voucher. And Chief, congratulations, Chief Waters. Will you be at the April meeting? You will be? Okay. Congratulations to you. And that's it, Your Honor.
Jason?
Thank you. I'm sure we all heard the sirens in the background coming off the variety of streets that City Hall is around, so that really lends me to say congratulations to your retirement and for all your many, many years of service to Lincoln Park, and what a vital role you have played in helping keep all of our residents safe. I've only been in council for a few months now and interacted with you as a council member, and you've always been so open, answered all my questions, very, very responsive, gave me a tour of the police station, and I certainly did appreciate that when, just starting out on council. And I hope everyone had a great first day of spring. I'd ask everyone to cross their fingers for some good weather for all of these many, many city events that we have coming up in March and April. It seems like it is a real roll of the dice. And this is March Madness for college basketball, and just like to give a shout out to Michigan State for reaching the Sweet 16 in a year of tragedy that they've dealt with. I'm sure this brought a much welcome break from that and provided a lot of people with a lot of happiness, and I wish them luck this weekend. That's all.
Mr. Zoll?
I'd like to thank all the departments in our community. They have been extremely helpful. Everything that I've asked, they answer. All the department heads, they've just been great. I can't thank enough. I mean, my fellow council members, you've all been really good. I'm really grateful for everything that's been happening so far. And with that, I'd like to say good night.
Lastly, I'd like to remind everybody that it was already spoken about the cleanup coming up on the 22nd of next month. There are now posters all over town. All you have to do is wave your phone across the poster, and you can sign up, and we'd love to hear your name and get you signed up. And with that, I will call for the adjournment.
So moved.
Support. Councilperson Salcido?
Yes.
Dupre? Yes. Bear?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Soar?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins?
Yes.